It's Councilman Robert Stevens III, and we're going virtue this fitness challenge. Join me for healthy cooking with common threads. Let's cook and eat healthy together.
Hey there, welcome back to my kitchen. This is Chef Victoria with Common Threads, and if you're watching this, it's because you are participating in the Miami Gardens Fitness Challenge. And today we're going to be talking about another simple recipe that's really delicious and that you can prepare beforehand and have for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So I hope you've been doing your exercises and staying healthy and being careful with what you're eating, including lots of fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, and dairy in your diets. As we talked about during the last class where we made the stir fry, it's really important to get a lot of color in your plate. So eating a rainbow and painting your plate with color is really important. Today, we are going to make a baked kale frittata with very simple ingredients. And I'm just going to teach you how to go step by step using these healthy, simple ingredients to make a healthy baked kale frittata. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you what I have as my ingredients today. Okay, as you can see, I have some eggs. I'm also going to have an onion. I'm going to use some olive oil. I'm using some olive oil spray as well. I have some water, some low-fat milk. I'm also going to use some shredded mozzarella cheese and our nice, healthy, nutrition-packed kale. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I also have to have some nice salt and pepper. And I'm going to be using as well some olive oil spray. And this is the pan I'll be using. So I have everything I need right here available to me to get started with today's recipe, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's get started. I have to preheat my oven to 375, which I already did. Then I have to coat a 9-inch round baking pan with spray. But what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to use my pan. And then this same pan I will be putting in the oven afterwards, okay? So let's get started with what I need to get done. So I'm going to cut my onion in half, as I already have. And I'm going to chop it up. In this case, I'm just going to slice it. You don't have to use a red onion. You could actually use any other onion. But this is what I had in my kitchen, so I'm going to go ahead and use this for today's recipe. Remember, we're using our bear claw, which is where we tuck our fingers backwards this way, and we hold on to our fruit or vegetable, placing it plank side down so that we can slice it, okay? If we were to chop it into dicing, if we wanted to dice, all we have to do is just hold on to our onion with our bear claw like this and then chop it into smaller pieces. So getting the children to get involved in our healthy eating is really important. So we try to get them into the kitchen and help us with part of the cooking process. In this case, well, maybe you don't want to give them a knife. If you can have them follow the instructions for the bear claw and use the knife safely, and you're supervising, then that would be wonderful. But they can do other things like measure using their measuring cups and measuring spoons. You can get them to measure out the different ingredients, or like say in this case where we're going to have some eggs, all you have to do is just, maybe they can help out by cracking the eggs open and adding them to our mixing bowl like this. So this is a very simple recipe with simple ingredients. So our eggs are going to be our proteins for this ingredient. Our onions are some vegetables, the same as our kale. Our cheese is going to be dairy, but also protein. And then we have some low-fat milk, which is also dairy. So it's just very simple. I'm going to crack these eggs open and then give them a little bit of a whisk. Okay. Okay, so I chopped my onion. Now I'm going to beat up my eggs a little bit. We just want to mix them. Okay, that's about right. Now we're simply going to take our kale and we're going to chop it up. So kale is has a lot of nutrients in it. We're just going to hold on to it like this or put our hand on top of the knife and make it into the size that you want, whatever size you choose. Make sure when you're doing the rock and chop that your hand is on top of the knife and that your fingers are never in the way, okay? So we're going to chop up our kale. See the way my fingers are always tucked back and my knife is going up and down, but it's never good. My fingers are never going to be in the way. Okay, so here we are chopping up our kale. Okay, so this is gonna be 6 eggs, 1 tablespoon olive oil, 1 onion chopped, 3 cups of kale chopped, spray, 1/4 teaspoon pepper, salt, half a cup of water, half a cup of low-fat milk, and half a cup of mozzarella cheese. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna preheat our oven. We're going to coat the 9-inch round baking pan with spray. Wash and drain the kale and then chop it. Cut the onion in half. Chop it. Heat oil in pan. Cook onion until soft. Stir in the kale and the water. Then we shred the cheese, or maybe you already bought your cheese shredded. Then we're gonna, in a large bowl, we're gonna combine the eggs. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna combine my eggs in a large bowl. I'm gonna add my milk. Go ahead and also add cheese. Okay, I'm also going to go ahead and add some salt and pepper. Okay, so I'm just going to mix this together. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my pan on my burner. Let's see. Let's come over here. So I'm going to go ahead and put my burner on high. Here's my pan. I'm going to go ahead and add some olive oil to my pan and make sure it heats up. Then I'm going to add my onion, add my kale and my water to this pan. So this is a very simple recipe for you to make at home and just keep it in the fridge so that you have a simple, easy, and healthy breakfast. That's what it's all about. So as you know, Common Threads is focusing on eating the right kinds of food having lots of fruits and vegetables and lean proteins, whole grains, and dairy. So this is a very good example of that easy, simple recipe. So I'm going to go ahead and add my onions to my pan. Got a little bit of kale in there. Okay, just going to wait till that heats up just a little bit more. So yes, having plenty of fruits and vegetables and making sure that most of our groceries are made at the produce area is something that maybe we haven't thought of in the past. But when we go to the supermarket and we make sure that that our cart is mostly filled with lots of color, which is all of these vegetables and fruits, you're gonna be already having all of the right kinds of nutrients to stay healthy. Okay, so even if you want to add mushrooms to your frittata, if you want to add other ingredients such as spinach, or maybe you can add some bell peppers, you can add basically whatever you want. This one we're going to make with kale, but you can make a frittata out of any vegetable, with any vegetable that you wish. Okay, so here we have our onion. It's going to saute. I want it to get nice and brown. So yeah, when we get our kids involved and participating in the kitchen, they tend to want to go ahead and try maybe some recipes that we wouldn't have expected for them to try, because they've been in the kitchen with us. Then they feel more comfortable. They've been maybe chopping some onion or some garlic, or working with other vegetables and fruits, or the eggs, and then you are already going to have them, you're going to encourage them to have the right kinds of food. And hopefully, along with exercise, that it'll be a great success. Okay, so here's my onion. Okay, here's another piece of kale in there. My oven has already been preheated. So this is a very good example of a healthy meal. Also, if you have some nice Greek yogurt with some homemade granola and a little bit of honey, that's also a very good example of a healthy snack. So just, you can have as many fruits and vegetables as you want. There's no limits. So that's why we encourage that so much. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and add my kale to my pan where the onion is. And I also need to add my water. So I've got my onion in here with a little bit of olive oil, the kale, and some water. I want to make sure that it cooks through. And then all I'm going to do is just mix these ingredients with the eggs that I have already mixed with the milk and the cheese and salt and pepper. So you can see how simple this is. So as I was saying, you can change ingredients. It doesn't have to be kale. You can add other ingredients that you may think of. And it's always going to be your own frittata. So this one is simple and nice. And the kale has a high level of nutrition. So there's a lot of vitamins in our kale. And it has a high density, a high amount of vitamins and different kinds of nutrients. So you can see now that it's turning even greener. You can see that we're going to be eating that rainbow and painting our plate with color and having a healthy meal. Very, very simple, very easy, very basic. So I think this is about ready. What I'm going to do now is that I'm going to mix it together with my eggs. So here's my egg mixture. I'm just going to go ahead and turn off my burner. Here I am going ahead and adding all my kale and onions to my egg mixture. Okay. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is that I'm going to make sure that I spray my pan with a little bit of that spray olive oil, and then it's going into the oven. Okay, so after I get this in the oven, it's going to bake for 25 to 30 minutes at 375. Okay, so this is going now into the oven. And in about 20 to 25 minutes, it should be ready. So there it is, a very easy and simple recipe for breakfast that you can keep in your fridge and just have it during the week and avoid those possible sugars that we sometimes have in the morning, like in the form of our maybe cereal with too much sugar or something of the sort. This is something that you can have ready beforehand. So I hope you're doing well with your challenge. I hope you are exercising plenty and eating the right kinds of foods. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.